How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another video, and Happy New Year. We are now officially in 2025, and I have a little bit of a haul video to start off the new year. Only 3 books, nice and short. A couple of these I actually purchased last year, and they just finally came in as we hit 2025. One of them actually just arrived, and I'm super excited. If you guys follow me on my Instagram, Conlin's Comics, you've already seen a couple of these books, but one of them is brand new to this video specifically. As I already mentioned before, I've kind of been taking a break from a lot of the overall big haul videos in terms of quantity of books, and I'm trying to focus in on a lot of the bigger, pricier books, the first appearances that I've wanted for a while that I haven't actually focused in on because I keep getting distracted and sidetracked. As you've seen from my last few big videos, that's what a lot of these books are now. All of that patience is paying off, and I've been extremely excited to get the books I have been in the grades I have been. And I'll talk a little bit more as what my focus is going to be as I go into 2025, but let's start by showing off the first book I have today. And that book is Justice League of America number 55. This is the first appearance of the Golden Age Robin in the Silver Age. And as anybody knows, they've been following me for a bit, Justice League of America is one of my favorite DC runs to collect. I actively hunt out the first appearances or first Silver Age appearances, as there's a lot of those in this title specifically. And anything that is more of the run filler books, I like to get raw, which is how I do most of my, pretty much all the runs I do. Anything that's the main run, I keep nice raw books. Anything that is a major first appearance or even a iconic cover where even half a grade jacks up the price that much more, those I prefer to get graded so I know what I'm getting and I can always sell, upgrade, trade. It makes it easier down the road. But this is Justice League of America, like I said, 55 and a 9.0 white pages, beautiful copy of this book. And this is another one that I have just always adored because of that dark purple background right there. I love the look of all of the art styling for these Justice League books also. Just absolutely incredible. But we're going to keep this video moving today, so let's go ahead and hop into book number 2. Next up we have Detective Comics issue 358. This book I've had my eye on for quite a bit. It is the first appearance of Spellbinder, Delbert Billings, and I was able to snag this in a 9.2 white pages. And of course, one of my favorites, Carmine Infantino, right there on the cover. And this one I had wanted because in addition to Batman the Animated Series, I am also a huge Batman Beyond animated series fan. I just love everything they did by any new character they brought in, the continuation of the characters we already knew and loved and how they furthered those stories or wrapped them up. I thought it was a beautiful continuation of everything from Batman the Animated Series. And in addition to Terry McGinnis as Batman in that, I love all of the new villains they chose to bring into that also. One of them being Spellbinder. That one, instead of it being Delbert Billings, it was Dr. Ira Billings, who was, I forget if it was a therapist or a psychiatrist, but either way, he was kind of using and abusing his power and his role for the youth of the high school kids and kind of making them commit crimes for him, for the valuables, for the jewelry, things like that. So, really awesome character. I thought it was a really cool addition to the lore, like I said. His first appearance, as well as Shriek from that, are probably my 2 favorite for the new villains they've introduced. Absolutely incredible to have this book. So let's go ahead and check out the final book I have. And this, of course, is the big boy. This is Detective Comics issue 400 in a CGC 9.0. Finally got a copy I liked with white pages. And this was another one I really held out for a while for. I wanted something in the 9s, with it being a 70s book, quite on the dot, 1970. I really wanted to hold out for one that was also white pages, but this is another book where the spine wrap really mattered to me. I didn't want any of the white showing. I didn't want any kind of wonky thick up top, thin down below, and I finally found a copy that had a perfect wrap on it. So it hit all of my boxes, something in the 9s, just barely on the cusp, white pages with the perfect wrap. And for anybody that does not know, as I'm sure most of you if you're watching this are, this is the first appearance of Man-Bat, this beautiful Neil Adams cover who we have right there, and also the first Robin and Batgirl team-up story. So that is something that actually I had never really clocked in on until fairly recently. That just adds one more bit of charm to that book. So, again, for all of the Neal Adams covers in this era, the way that, again, his first appearance is just right there, big and bold, him and Batman looming over the city. Absolutely gorgeous book. I was extremely happy to get this, like I said, in the grade I did with the pages I did. Overall, I don't really care about page quality. As long as it is off-white to white pages or white pages, I'm golden. But anytime we get a little bit past the Silver Age, a little bit newer, as long as it doesn't factor into the price too much, I always prefer white pages, but I will happily take off-white to white, anything in that realm. So this just happened to be that the white pages with this grade didn't overly jack it up, so I had to make my move. Alright, so that's everything I have today for the new books, but in terms of my goals going into 20 and 25, I'm not going to get book specific, more that I'm going to continue the trend of what I've already been doing. In terms of a lot of 2024 is me starting this channel, dipping into claim sales, really delving into the community. I've always been into comics, but not nearly as much as I have been this past year, especially on the culture side of it. So both good and bad in 2024, like I said, I went heavy on claim sales, I went heavy on eBay, but for a lot of books that I didn't necessarily need to, I have a lot of my DC Silver Age, my Hulk Silver Age, a lot of my just run books. I've overall kind of gone online shopping crazy instead of enjoying more of that hunt in person. And for a lot of the big books, the first appearances, I prefer it that way because for me, from my area, I do get the best deals online when it comes to my graded first appearances. But because of that, I also want to step back and get more of my run filler books in person because that is more possible. That is less grade specific, just a nice presenting copy that I can hold in my hand and check out. That's all I need. So now my goal is still tracking down my bigger books. If I can find them in person, great. But overall, that's going to be a lot of my online shopping. And then kind of holding back unless the right book with the right deal comes along. And really enjoying more of the hunt for my filler issues for all of the runs that I've now built up this past year. So I still want to have books that I can look forward to, that I can enjoy when I go out, trying to find the issues to fill them in, have the joy of that. So I need to pump the brakes on a lot of the online bulk buying, having everything coming in, slow it down, enjoy the hobby, enjoy the books. That said, I do want to pump the brakes on a lot of that altogether. I have been going a little spend crazy on the bigger books, specifically in December of last year, as you guys have seen. But that is because there have been so many big books that I keep getting distracted. And instead of saving up, holding back, putting my money towards them, I end up doing these bulk purchases, or I have various other things I collect as well. So I'll go down the rabbit hole of one of those for a bit. And then when I move back into comics, wishing I had a little bit more money saved up for that so that I could get some of the bigger ones I've always wanted. So 2025, I plan to add a lot more bigger books to my collection. I plan to take a break from a lot of the online claim sale like I have been in terms of just buying a lot of run filler books that I could hunt down in person. Probably my biggest goal of 2025 though is to actually go to a Comic-Con. I have never been to a real Comic-Con. I have only even gone to one comic show in my life, and it is because that I have one of my local comic shops over in Keene, which is about an hour drive from me. I know the owner, Tim, very great, and he actually offered me tickets to get into the show if I could help him break it down at the end of the show and get everything packed up for him. And that to this day is the only comic show, Comic-Con I've ever been to. So in 2025, I would actually love to go to my first real show. I'm thinking either Terrificon is the one that I keep hearing nothing but great things about that I absolutely want to make happen. So 2025, I'm thinking is my year, but I know everybody's doing it now, especially with the last video I had, but if you guys had any last minute books you had come in, please let me know down below. Like I mentioned before, I try to engage with each and every comment. If you guys have any goals, strategies, or ways you're adjusting going into 2025, well, we're here now. Go ahead and drop that down below as well. If you guys just want to see more books, random books, collecting that I'm picking up without a lot of the talking, check out my Instagram, Conglin's Comics. I do at least a post a week. Sometimes it's a post a day. Depends how crazy work is getting, but it's a little bit more of what I'm into over there. So thank you all for checking out this video. Until next time.